to make money.
Today's episode of A Couple of Bettors is brought to you by Moneyline Limousine Services. Whether you find yourself in Sin City or you're a Vegas local, choose Moneyline Limo.
Moneyline, it's all about the vibes. Take your friends around in style in their newly updated party buses.
Whether it's a hotel or the dinner reservations on the Strip for a wedding, pool parties, corporate event, or our personal favorite, a ride to a sporting event, Moneyline has you covered.
Visit their user-friendly site at www.moneylinelimo.com to book your sick ride today.
Mention Couple of Bettors podcast, receive 25% off of any ride that's 3 hours or more. All right, let's move on to today's episode. What's up, everybody? Episode 28, coming at you.
Week 3 of football
is over. We're on to week 4. So far, so good. We were up a bit for the last week, which is a good thing.
Wait, and that means Von Miller's in next week.
Next week, Von Miller's back. That is true.
Okay, I'm glad now that we're on week 4.
And also wanted to mention to everybody out there, if you haven't been paying attention, our locks of the week are 5 out of 6 so far. So when it gets to the locks, maybe pay a little more attention to it on a heater. So let's go. Those are the ones we're putting the most money on too. So that's been a good thing. It's been helping us out. So let's get into it. Start off with how we always do it.
You got Vegas.
You got Vegas.
Okay, so this is a typical you got Vegas move. Yeah. I don't know, some people still haven't learned, but a gentleman got the trick roll played on him recently at Caesars. This was just this week, actually. And I don't know if you know, some of you have been here for these things, but in Vegas, there's a lot of work conventions. For some reason, great jobs, not if you're a teacher, it never happened to us, but great jobs decide to bring all of their employees to Vegas, where during the day they have to learn about their job and network and do stupid shit, sit there, listen to conferences and whatever, and then they get to do whatever they want in the evening. I know for a teacher, that was never, we had to sit in classrooms and learn stuff. We never got to come to Vegas.
Well, I mean, if you're a company, it's like the best bribe ever to get people to come out. It's like, hey, look, we're going to put on a reason for you to come to Vegas, and we're also going to sponsor a bunch of events and drinking and parties and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, boss man, I have to go to this convention, the conference, because this other company we deal with is putting on a nice show. So
it's great. So that happens constantly here. It's this is one of those things. But so anyway, and I bring this up because at Caesars this week, a poor unsuspecting gentleman got a little too drunk, played a lot of blackjack, and did very, very well. He actually won $125,000 at the table, so he knew what he was doing, even though he was lit. But these lovely ladies pictured here were paying attention. They watched him. They followed him. They got to know him. And by the time he became a blackout drunk person, he said he woke up the next morning and found that the $125,000 of winnings was missing, as well as his Rolex. He doesn't remember really doing anything with the women. He doesn't remember going up to the hotel with the women, but he believes that they've actually been charged. There's footage of them going up with him, but at this point he's been blackout drunk. So, you got Vegas is basically this man right here. Don't get fucking too drunk where you don't know where you are and you're in a blackout. And on top of it, flexing your money on your Rolex and, you're winning at the table. They're going to take advantage of you. And are they wrong? I don't know. Should they be going to jail? I don't know. I mean, it's you're stealing, but at the same time, it's like, come on, you got to get it together. Keep it together if you're going to be in Vegas. So.
Yeah, a couple quick ones. One, good luck getting the money back.
Yeah.
They're not going to see it. No. They'll do a little jail time, but come on. Two, good luck explaining that one to your wife, sir. I don't remember inviting these ladies up to the room. You had to file a police report. If that was about $8,000, he's not filing that police report. He's eating that loss and saying, fuck. 3, for all you guys who go out to Vegas, you go to the regular lobby bar, hotel bar, late at night, a little bit whacked, just did a bunch of, gambling and stuff like that. There's going to be some ladies of the night there. Night crawlers, whatever you want to call them, they're there. Most of the time these days, they realize it's a lot easier to just steal money. They don't even have to bang you. So they're like, why would I just go bang you for $350 in a room if I could take your Rolex? So they're going to drug you. They're going to do a little trickery. They're going to have one girl looking at the safe combo when you get on there to pay her and all that stuff. So Be weary, gentlemen, because otherwise you might show up on You Got Vegas.
You got Vegas. All right. Josh knows a little too much about that for some reason.
I don't know. It's just common knowledge out here in Vegas. All right. Next up, let's face it. People in the news this week. One of the ones we want to highlight near and dear to the heart here, Robert Saleh. He's spending the last couple weeks trying to defend Zach Wilson's performance. There's a lot of negative press around that, obviously. They're saying he's losing some locker room.
He's on the Zach Wilson apology tour for Zach Wilson.
Right. So, one, I'll defend Zach a little bit. He's facing some tough defenses right away. We know he's not that good, but throw him against a tough defense, it's even worse. So he had to walk back some comments this week. And the last press conference he had, he said, look, we know he's got to do better. He knows he has to do better. And then Zach did a press conference also, and he said, yeah, it's a lot I can improve on. So,
yeah, but I think the key point here is Saleh had to walk it back because the Jets team, most of the members were saying publicly that they were pissed at him. We don't get it. Why is he's talking up Zach, saying that it's not his fault. He's apologizing for him. It's getting a little out of hand. So that's why he had to walk back his comments.
Totally. Namath was out there saying they got to trade the guy away, and that Saleh, he has no faith. So sucks.
Seems like a cool coach. So I feel bad, but it's bad when your whole team is kind of like, what? You got to stop.
What a letdown. We're this close with Aaron Rodgers, and all of a sudden now we're fucking defending him again. They just did for the last couple of years. So. Yeah. All right.
We also have somebody who just came out of fucking nowhere for the Bills. He's a rookie, but he showed up against the Commanders on Sunday. Terrell Bernard. He was named AFC Defensive Leader of the Week, and he had 2 sacks in that game, 1 interception, and 1 fumble recovery. I mean, listen, the Bills crushed the Commanders. It was a beautiful thing to watch after watching the Raiders. Great. Just keep it going. We have the Dolphins next Sunday. We'll get into that this weekend, but that's going to be scary. But this guy crushed it against the Commanders again. Fantastic. AFC Defensive Leader of the Week, and he's a rookie. This was his, 3rd game. And he came out to play, so definitely appreciate it. Thank you, Terrell. Keep it going. You want to live in this spotlight the whole season. Not just one game.
There you go. Well, speaking of what you just mentioned here, the other guy we have up here, Mike McDaniels, guy's on fire right now. I mean, the Dolphins just put up 70. We all saw it. Wow.
Bills are going to put out his flame this weekend, though.
So. We'll get into that game, but this guy is on fire, and everybody's talking about it, and he's got those guys in sync. I mean, the things they're doing on offense creatively, really pre-snap stuff where he's got motion before they snap it. He's getting these guys open because of the crazy motion they're running and stuff like that. On most plays, it's the highest percentage of motion out of any team in the league. So shout out to you, Mike McDaniels. You look like a dweeb. I always talk a little shit, but geez, you're putting it together right now.
Well, also what's worth mentioning is that he was the ball boy for the Broncos back in the day, wanted to be a head coach and or just a coach of some sort on their team, and they said no, and then he demolishes them by 50 points. So
that is pretty good, actually.
That was a good glow up.
That's for sure.
Good job.
All right, how about this one? You saw this stuff with Mac Jones and Sauce Gardner? So if you're not a Jets, Pats fan, whatever, during the game last week, they get up after Mac Jones gets tackled, and he hits Sauce Gardner in the nuts. And Sauce is like, what are you doing? He pushes him after, and then after the game, Sauce mentions it like, yeah, this guy's trying to make sure I don't have any kids anymore. What are you doing? You're a quarterback. You're hitting people in the nuts. Everybody's been talking about this guy being a dirty player, and this goes back for a couple of years now. So, where there's smoke, there's fire.
It's very hard to see in the video.
I know.
But Sauce does come out of that pile holding his nutsack. So, and you usually don't do that just for shits and giggles. So, I don't know. I kind of believe him.
In some ways, I kind of appreciate the quarterback hitting the other guy in the little nuts. But it's fun anyway. Well,
cheap. Oh, men. You just like to touch each other. It's so weird. And our final, so we're not even going to talk about, she showed up to the game. They could be dating. It's kind of disgusting at this point because everybody is talking about this and not like football. Ugh. But I do have to point out, because she showed up to that stupid game last weekend, Kelce's jersey sales have gone up 400%. So now you got all these little Swiftie girls running around with Kelce jerseys, not knowing who the hell he is, what he does, what football is, who the Chiefs are. But they all bought the jersey because she went to one game. His social media has gained 300,000 new followers, and now he's coming to MetLife Stadium, and word is that she's going to show up, and people in New York are freaking out, and it's just, I hope this comes to an end soon. I mean, I'm sure she's a great artist. I'm not really into her that much. We're kind of not. We're just not.
Not at all.
I'm into football, and I feel like this is taking away from it. But for now, those are some fun facts about the whole fucking Kelce Swift little era.
And some of it, you think about these like power couples, like how strategic this stuff is. Like, it's actually good for both of them. So in one way, you got a bunch of like young girls, which is not the NFL's demographic, to come over to like the NFL and like watching games. And then in the other way, he's obviously getting more of a following. He's got a podcast with his brother, so that's kind of cool that they get the benefit of this stuff. So
he takes a positive look. I'm like, this sucks. Make it go away. So.
Oh no, I don't want fucking her. Do I need Jets fans? Do we need this fucking game on Sunday night, which shouldn't be a Sunday night game now that Rodgers is not playing? Do we need to be panning to Taylor Swift after every touchdown the Chiefs score this week? I don't want to see it. I'm probably not going to watch the game out because I don't want to deal with it. So we're watching that one at home and
the privacy of our own home.
Yeah. All right. How do we do betting?
It was a good weekend. Yay.
Yeah, it was a good one. I mean, look, from a hit rate perspective, I know that myself, I didn't do that great. Christine did much better from a hit rate perspective. Overall, between the two of us, you hit a little over, half of the bets. But that was positive units. Mm-hmm. So, you take positive unit. If you can come out of a weekend with positive units, we're good.
And we actually have some extra bets on here that we didn't put on here that made money. I think there was one that didn't, but a few that made extra. Like we just kept doubling down. So, but we didn't. We wanted to focus on what we told you guys.
And we're not going to just say we win all the time because I'll tell you what, I put a bunch of money on the Raiders because we were at the game.
Yes,
and
we both did.
Should I add more money at the half? Yes, I did, and that didn't work out. So they're not all winners, folks. But some of the highlights here. I mean, we knew that that Giants game, 49ers, they were going to crush.
Yeah,
that was easy.
That was easy. It's almost like Vegas has to do better.
The Bills game, my lock, I mean, was over from, like right away. They just dominated them. I mean, the score actually even going into the third, but they just opened the game up and just crushed. Mm-hmm. So love that one. Any ones that you want to highlight? I mean, obviously your lock is great.
Yeah, my lock made it, but that was, I said if they don't do this, if they couldn't cover that spread, I would also be happy because they're just a shitty team and they're not going to be an issue. They definitely covered it, and they covered it by a decent amount. So now I'm still like, okay, they got my respect. I will no longer be betting for them or on them, but this was free money, and that's why I took it as my lock of the week. And the Lions came through again, people. The Lions came through again for me. Took them at -3 against the Falcons. Ooh, what a wonderful thing it was.
That game is almost on right now. We told you already, so we won't go through it all, but...
Got the Lions again.
Guess who's on the Lions again?
Woo! By the way, I took them to be the division champ, so...
That's also helpful.
It's all helping me out.
And this is a big game for that because it's a divisional matchup.
Mm-hmm. So.
All right, quick on the injury report. A couple little things just to pay attention to. We saw that Mike Williams on the Chargers sucks. He tore his ACL. He's out for the season. That's the biggest one on here, except for the fact that Derek Carr hurt his shoulder. He's going to be out, likely. He didn't practice today.
I think it might be a couple weeks, not just...
Yeah. Mahomes rolled his ankle, but he's always been dealing with some of these ankle problems, so
Oh, they'll definitely put him in against the Jets because just stand there. You'll be fine. Don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, and you got some of the Packers players that are going to be probably back today, so that's Aaron Jones and Christian Watson. And then Saquon still, we don't know. Jimmy G's with the concussion where he might not play. So they don't,
It's okay.
He's
Raiders
practicing.
Are terrible though, so it's not really. They won't do much difference.
Yeah.
Waddle though is a huge questionable one. Most likely he's gonna have to play this weekend, but it'd be nice. Maybe he should sit out for 2 weeks. Really make sure that head's clear. But right now he's questionable. He was out. He sat out last weekend. Of course, as we all know the score. You couldn't even tell that he wasn't there. But I would appreciate it if he was still out.
Yeah, and these concussion ones are weird. So you got the Jimmy G, you got Bryce Young, and then also you have Anthony Richardson. And maybe no, Bryce was something different. But Anthony Richardson, though, he hit the concussion. He's practicing, but it's like if he doesn't clear the concussion protocol, he's not going to play.
Right, but
So we don't
practice
know.
doesn't mean he's getting slammed to the ground, you know.
No, it's fine to practice. I'm just saying it's like you don't know what's actually going to happen. Whereas other injuries, it's like if the guy's practicing, he's probably going to play. This maybe that doesn't mean much. So
we'll see. Those are your injuries. All right, we're gonna run through these. Especially if we just are leaning on some of these bets, like this game, the Falcons versus Jaguars. Jaguars looking terrible. I don't know what's going on with them. I am no longer betting them. However, against the Falcons at home, -3, I would lean towards it, but I wouldn't even,
it's home, but it's London. London home.
right.
It's London home. But they play well there. They go there all the time. So they have more of an advantage because they've done that whole trip before and stuff like that. But
I don't know. I mean, I would stay away from this, honestly. Anyway, I know if you're on the West Coast, you are not waking up at 6:30 to watch this game unless you're a diehard Falcons Jaguars fan.
I'll be watching it. I'm drinking my coffee because I'll be up already, hopefully. See how the Saturday night goes.
I don't think so. The Saturday we have planned, you
Yeah.
will probably not be up that early.
True. All right, next one. This is the tough one. This is the game where the Jets and the Chiefs are on Sunday night. This game should be on Sunday night. Miami Dolphins going to Buffalo. I mean, you can go into it, but I actually think this is a trap game for all you people that are out there, and I get it. Myself, when I look at this game, I'm thinking to myself, Miami coming off of 70 freaking points. Can you stop these guys? You know,
Right.
Everybody's thinking that way. It's still the Buffalo Bills. It's still in Buffalo. Hard place to play. I know the weather's still going to be fine. It feels like a trap that's going to lure people into that Dolphins money line. So I'm staying away from it. I think this is going to be a lot of points scored because I think Allen and the team are not going to let up. I think this is actually going to be like think about the playoffs last season.
I get to say anything,
Yes.
or are you going to go on and
It
on
was,
about it?
they both scored in the 30s, and that was with Skylar Thompson. And it was the last time in the playoffs that they met. I think it's going to be 30-something to 30-something. But
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a high-scoring game. I do need to say, though, Tyreek Hill made a comment in a press conference this week saying that, they asked, like, are you worried about going to Buffalo for this game? And he goes, I don't know. People talk about the fans like it's going to be the same as any other game. So that they're home. The Bills Mafia don't scare me in so many words. He's basically like, it's going to be like any other game. Bills Mafia, show up like you always do. Be loud. Teach him a lesson. I don't know what he's thinking, where he's been when he's come to our hometown and thought there's not a difference when you go to Buffalo versus you go to, I don't know, the Falcons, Arizona, even to MetLife, especially when, they have a little more Jets fans now because they thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be there. You go to MetLife last season, probably crickets you would hear. Show them who's best. Show him who's best at being a fan because we are freaking awesome. But I am terrified. The Dolphins are a scary, scary team. We need Allen to be on top of everything. I need Bernard to do what he did last week. Defense crush Tua if you can. Just keep going, getting at him. I know it's going to be a difficult one. I'm not saying nobody's going to blow out anybody though. I would be
shocked if it was.
I would be disheartened as a Bills fan if that was on our side, and I can't imagine we could do it. Oh, that would be sick. But this is going to be a good tell-all for, who's Super Bowl material. So
one thing we're talking about that with the Bills fans, him saying that it doesn't matter. The Dolphins, the way their the motion works and the way they're running guys across and snapping, all that is on timing and rhythm. That's what it is. You got to, as soon as the guy's ready to be snapped, and it's all practice, and that's why I credit Mike McDaniels. Do that in a place where you can't hear anything at all. It's hard to do.
It's got to be loud, loud, just like you always are. I'm not saying I do it, but if you can even up it this time, we need to squish the fish this week. Squish the fish. And people are going to start talking about us like they should be because they have not been talking about us. We keep getting put all these crush blowout wins. They're not mentioning us because the Dolphins went 50 over the Broncos. Not mentioning the Raiders game and the blowout winner of that game because it's against the Raiders. We got to do it this week. We've got to beat the Dolphins, and then they'll be talking about us the way they should. So, anyways, I would take the Bills. I don't do that because we know I'm superstitious and I don't want to ruin anything. He's got the over because he's right. He knows Tua versus Allen. It's going to be a high-scoring game.
Totally.
Go Bills. Squish a fish.
All right, next up, Minnesota Vikings going to Carolina Panthers. We're both betting this one. We are both betting the Vikings to get off the schneid.
Yeah.
And say 0-3 here, the Vikings.
Schneid.
I don't know. I think it's an expression. I'm not sure.
I would not know, but
It's too shitty. I mean, two 0-3 teams. I think that the Vikings are a better 0-3 team
yes.
than the Panthers. And I don't even know who, we don't know if Bryce Young is even playing. He's practicing, so I'm assuming he's going to be playing. But who gives a shit? I think that Cousins and them, they're going to figure out a way to win this one.
Yeah. Vikings minus 3.5. Definitely.
Yeah, the Panthers' defense is not that good either. So, like, Cousins, their offense has been putting up numbers. So that should be the way they win.
All right. I am actually taking the Broncos when they're home against the Bears. I know they look like crap against the Dolphins, but the Dolphins and the Bears are two different entities. The Bears, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for you Bears fans. They're just terrible. You know they're terrible. They've got nothing. Like, their statistics are just nothing. Like, so Russell Wilson, I'm sure he'll be able to look somewhat good against the Bears. I'm taking them at minus 3.5, even though they're traveling.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Ooh, next up, Ravens versus Browns, divisional game.
Ravens is what I lost money. The only game I lost money on, minus the Raiders, but I put that on because we went to the game. The Ravens looked like crap last weekend, but apparently they had like 8 people out that I did not know about when I put my bet in. So
That's
it like
true.
happened the way I did it early in the week, and a couple days later, like so many players were out. So I'm scarred about that. So I'm not putting my money on them this week at all.
And they almost won with the Justin Tucker missed field goal that had to go into overtime.
Tucker, dude, you're always nailing that stuff. It was a long kick,
one.
but you're always really good at that. I was
I know.
shocked. So we're both leaning towards the Browns, but not going to spend any time watching it. Like we'll peek here and there, but we're not putting actual money on it.
The Browns defense supposedly only let up 500 yards so far through 3 games, which is the only other team to have done that. It dates back to 1999 Bucks, and if you know that team, it was just like a staunch defense stuff. So their defense is good, but you got to imagine maybe at home they're going to pull out this win against the Ravens that have some injuries too.
Yeah. Steelers at Texans. Well, and I do have to say, when we were at the Raiders game, oh my God, you would have thought the Steelers were at home.
Oh my God! Wow, they traveled.
And what happened? They travel, and that's. I just sat there thinking, if this was a Bills game, I think there would be like no Raiders fans in here. What hurts Vegas is that people want to come to Vegas. So if you're going to pick the one game you're going to travel to, and one of them happens to be in Vegas, you're going. So that hurts the Raiders team because they are definitely always going to have a lot more away fans because this is the trip of a lifetime. Let's make it. But I've never seen that before. We were in a sea of Steelers fans. So shout out to you guys. Like, you traveled well. Very impressed. Not impressed with the Raiders' performance at all, but Steelers fans, good job. But with that being said, I'm taking the Texans. They get points. They're at home. The Steelers aren't that good. They perform well in some areas, but they haven't played good teams yet and looked good against good teams. So I'm not impressed with them. I was in the beginning. I was hoping they were going to do well, but from what I've been watching, it's just nothing like that great.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the Texans, C.J. Stroud had a pretty good game last week. So
he's been doing very well.
He's doing pretty good. I'm on the over just because it's so low here at the 42. So that's where I'm going. I mean,
the over is a good bet as well.
Yeah, 42. And then speaking of which, just a quick one on the whole Raiders thing. There's some airlines now, discount airlines, that are looking at games in the NFL and saying which teams are going to want to travel to Vegas. And they're actually running Allegiant, and they're running more flights. So they're running flights from Kansas City when they come here, from Pittsburgh. I think there's one that goes from Buffalo to maybe Kansas City that they're running a flight from. So they're looking at not only just Vegas, but like where to run additional flights from, which is cool.
Yes, the Mafia travels. They were all over Washington last weekend, which was sick to watch. Okay, we've got the Rams at Colts.
Yeah. I mean, the Colts defense kind of sucks. I feel like Aaron Donald, that pass rush against who knows if it's Minshew or Richardson, we lean the Rams on the road, but not going to bet it.
Yeah, it's also probably boring. Another one.
Another boring one. Kind of,
Bucks
for
at
us, at
Saints,
least.
yeah. I mean, we've been watching the Saints. I've been betting on the Saints. They've been okay, but they're not like always covering the spread. I was hoping Carr would do a little bit better than he has because I wanted him to be like, yeah, I'll show you Raiders, and he's not doing that. I'll show you Raiders. So that's disappointing. But I would take the Saints against the Bucks because the Bucks are awful. Also, Kamara's back. He's a piece of shit, but he's good at what he does, and he's back. So
and look, is this going to be a Jameis Winston revenge game against his former team, the Bucks? I don't know, but we'll see what happens on that one. I'm leaning towards an over with this very low number, but it actually should be a defensive battle. I think it's going to come down to, can Lattimore lock up Mike Evans on the outside for the Bucks? We'll see. I mean, he has in the past, so should be a defensive battle on this one. Obviously, that's why the total is low at 40.5. If I was going to bet it, I'd go the over, though.
Poor Commanders at the Eagles. Dear God.
Yeah, I mean, look, Commanders, it's going to be a tough one with the Eagles. It's a lot of points. I get that, right? 8.5 points. But you got to figure that based on what just happened with Buffalo showing some weakness, their offensive line is bad, right? So, and the opposite, where the defensive pass rush for the Eagles is good. I don't think that matchup is going to go well. I think that the 8.5 points, I mean, I think it's going to be a 14-plus point difference at the end, so I'm taking it. Taking those Eagles, fly, Bird Boys.
Yeah, I'd rather bet on other games. Such as the Bengals at the Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been enjoying the Bengals looking not like the Bengals, which is, brings me joy. But the Titans are not good. Their run game's fizzled, and therefore, Tannehill has to put a lot more work in. Burrow is getting better. He's got this calf issue, but it's something that with time is going to get better and better, heal. So maybe he'll perform a little bit better. But I definitely think in this game specifically, Bengals can cover that -2.5 spread, no problem. Again, feel free, Bengals, to continue looking like shit the rest of the season. Not going to be upset. But against the Titans, I think 2.5 is definitely a spread that they're going to be able to beat. So therefore, I'm putting my money on that.
Yeah, the Bengals against the Rams, look good. They held in there. Jamar Chase had a ton of catches. I don't know, a dozen catches and stuff like that. So Burrow and him are on the same page at this point. It looks like they're syncing up again. I agree. I would lean that way.
All right.
Divisional matchup. Raiders at the Chargers. I'm on the Chargers on this one. At home, I know it's the -5.5. Jimmy G may be out. The secondaries are weak, and I just think that Herbert is going to be too much, and he's going to put it on him. I mean, based on the way the Raiders have looked the last 2 weeks on defense, I think the Chargers are going to put up points here.
Well, Herbert needs to
cover
the spread because this is against the Raiders, especially. They gotta
win.
You shouldn't be on any commercial if you can't beat all these teams. It doesn't make sense. But because it's going to be a boring game, I am not putting my money on it. But I too would lean towards the Chargers.
This is the game that makes sense, that they get back to 2-2, and it's like, oh, don't worry about the Chargers. They're okay. You got to beat these teams right here with the Raiders. I mean, sorry, Raider fans.
And we are both taking the Cowboys at -7 against the Patriots because fuck the Pats. They also suck. Cowboys are good. I mean, you got Elliott coming back. Ezekiel Elliott. Sorry, I couldn't think of his first name. Ezekiel Elliott coming back against his own team, but he's kind of getting old. He's up there. He probably needs to stop. He's not good. He hasn't been even doing anything that great for the Patriots.
Nope.
And we've got, CeeDee Lamb and Dak. As long as they don't get into Dak's head, he's going to do just fine. This spread should be easily covered. We're definitely taking Cowboys -7.
Yeah, the one thing is that the Pats defense that's what they have. They're a top, depending on whatever ranking you want to look at, they're probably number 6 or something defense. But the Cowboys put up 30 on the Jets, and the Jets have a good defense. So,
I am taking the Cowboys -7 because this is going to be my lock of the week. Woo-hoo! Let's go, Cowboys.
There we go. All right. Next up, Cardinals at 49ers. Look, San Francisco's been dominant in every which way, right? The Cardinals are coming off a nice win there, right? They just went and beat the Cowboys, and everyone said, whoa, what the hell happened on that one? Josh Dobbs has actually looked pretty good. It was a funny thing. He went they have like a vending machine for jerseys in the stadium that you could go and buy like a jersey. You know,
that's sick.
It's pretty sick, right? His is not even in there. He's a starting quarterback. I mean, poor guy, you know. So he put a video on like his own Instagram or something like that. Like, I can't even buy my own jersey.
Oh, that's terrible.
They corrected it. His jersey is in there. But look, I mean, the way he's been playing, you take one game, but last week, if you take that game, you go, fuck Kyler Murray. Let him sit out the whole year.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants him back. But, I mean, it's a big spread, -14. I'm still taking it. It's fun. To be honest with you, it's fun. The 49ers are fun to watch. And I got to be honest, in Vegas, there's a lot of 49ers fans that come. This is the second game, you know, the Sunday middle game, not evening game. I can focus on. So I'm taking the 49ers. Again, if you got a bunch of other bets going, stay away from this because the spread is so bit high. Yeah. But I like it, and I'm just going to challenge myself a little bit. So I'm going 49ers on this one.
Going for the blowout. Me, afraid of the backdoor cover, so I'm not taking it, but I like it.
Everybody should be afraid of that.
Next one, Sunday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs at the New York Jets. I mean, look, we all know what we think is going to happen in this game. Spread's at 9.5. That's a lot of points, and they're on the road. Chris Jones pass rush against Zach Wilson. I think that's not a great matchup. The Jets O-line has been not good at all. So they're not giving Zach Wilson enough time to process. He's already processing slower than he should be anyway. I mean, in order for the Jets to cover the spread, Hackett's got to put together an amazing game plan and they got to be able to establish a run. I don't know if they could do it. It's going to have to start probably with a couple complete passes down the field in order to back that defense away a little bit. They need to limit mistakes. Look, last week I know they played against the Patriots. They did have the ball with 1:48 at the 50-yard line at the end of the game, go down and score the touchdown, and you win the game, but they can't put up any points. So it's a tough one. I'm staying away from this, but look, I'll be honest with you. If you were betting the Chiefs, I'm not going to be mad at you. That includes anybody we're watching the game with. Shout out to Monkey. You want to bet the Chiefs, go ahead.
Oh, well, then I would have put my money on it.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to sit there cheering for the Chiefs, though. I think, though, what we should find are the prop bets of the over-under on how many times they pan to Taylor Swift. God. I would say over 5.
I'd rather bet the over on that one because at least it'll hedge against my own anger.
I would put $1,000 on the over 5 times.
Oh, 5 in the first freaking quarter.
Sure, I'll do a first half on that. If MGM wants to put that up, I'll $1,000 guaranteed right here.
All right, last game, Monday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks at the New York Football Giants.
New Jersey.
This one should be a pretty good game, to be honest with you. They have it at just a 1 spread right now. I'm sure it'll be bumping around a little bit as we approach. Seahawks are finding their groove a little bit. They came out shaky in the first game. It was like, what was that? They won the last 2. But Danny Dimes, they've looked not good. So that's a tough one.
So why am I taking the Giants based on all this negative stuff you said? What the heck?
Well, no, I'm just giving you the other side of it.
Yeah, well, I think the Giants,
at home.
They're at home. They've been doing well against some of these teams. They haven't been pulling out wins, but they've been putting up points. The home thing is key, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe magically Saquon will just show up because I got them at the -1. Like, my money's put on -1. So if Saquon magically shows up by Monday, well, that's going to be just a nice little freebie because everybody else is going to probably have to they'll get like the -3.5 or something. So yeah. I took the Giants right away just to get it. We're going to be watching with some of our Giants friends on Monday, so might as well cheer where the cheers should go.
Absolutely, and I think that for Danny Dimes' sake, Seahawks have a pretty good pass rush. If they get in his face, if he can create some run, I mean, that's what he does, right? He ran for a ton of yardage last year. If he can escape and do the stuff that Allen does and Mahomes does and make something happen, I think that's going to be the difference. But
he's no Allen.
No, he's not one. But look, they paid the guy, so you need something out of him, right? All you Giants fans, you want Danny Dimes to probably have 80 yards rushing and a touchdown rushing this game. I'm taking the under 47.
Because he's like, I don't think anything's happening in this game.
I think it's gonna be a lower scoring game. I think it's gonna be like to me, maybe a 17-14, 20-17 type of game. So I'm betting the under on this one.
All right.
So let's roll through what we're actually betting. So going on right now, we told you about yesterday or today, depending on when you're watching this. Christine.
I have the Lions -1.5, and I'm sure they'll come through because they're amazing.
Yep, and on the Lions game as well, I'm going with the over 46 points. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit of a shootout and a fun game to watch on a Thursday night.
We both have the Vikings at -3.5 against the Panthers because the Panthers are just garbage. And that's the same reason why I'm taking the Broncos, who are garbage, but they're going against the Bears, who unfortunately, so sadly, are even worse. I think they could cover that 3.5 spread, so I'm taking the Broncos.
And I'm taking the Texans plus the 3 points versus the Steelers. Texans are at home. I think C.J. Stroud's going to come out and play pretty well. I don't think the Steelers are that good, even though they beat up on the Raiders. So I'm going to put my money on the Texans as home dogs.
And I guess I'm going on the over 42, Steelers versus Texans.
Hope for there to be some points.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but maybe I am. I am taking it now. If I didn't take it, I will take it now because I put it out there in the universe. So.
That's right. And then I'm on the Eagles -8.5 points. I know it's a lot of points versus the Commanders, but I think they're going to pull this one out. I think that one should be about a 14-point plus victory for them Bird Boys.
Yeah, and then I've got the Bengals, even though they haven't looked like the Bengals, but against the Titans, I think they'll cover the -2.5 spread.
And don't forget about my lock of the week. I'm going with the Chargers, -5.5 points versus the Raiders. Raiders secondary is not that good. They're going to need Crosby to step up and get some sacks on Herbert, but I actually think he gets the ball out pretty quickly. I think Herbert is going to sling the ball all over the field, and this is going to be an easy one for them to win. They need that win to go 2-2, and that's why I'm putting my money on it.
Herbert better sling him. Well, my lock of the week is the Cowboys -7. We all know that my locks of the week have been pretty good. I would suggest taking it. Josh is also jumping on that -7 versus the Patriots with me. Let's go Cowboys for now.
Let's go. Then you have 2 more bets.
49ers at -14. That's just a challenge bet. I don't
Big
know.
spread.
I don't know if everybody should be following me on that one, but I'm taking it. I think it'll be fun. And I'm taking the Giants on the Monday Night Football game at -1 against the Seahawks because they're home. And why not? They've got to get this win out anyway.
Yep, and on that same game, I'm going with the under 47 points. And I'm hoping that one's going to be a little bit lower scoring. Not that crazy, it's just that the under over is 47. It's a pretty high number. I think that the Giants are going to try to control the game, hopefully on the ground a little bit too. So it's going to eat time off the clock. They go back and forth, and maybe it's a 20-17 type of game. Well, that is it, folks. We are going to go watch Thursday Night Football. Enjoy it. And
Go
by
Lions. Come on.
let's go over. Need some points, fellas. And follow us on all the stuffs. Like all the stuffs. And at some point, like if we go like what? I mean, if we win 90% of the locks of the week, are you going to start betting it with us or no? I don't know. Just you figure it out. You figure it out. You want to do it or no?
It's really creepy. Okay. He's done
I could be
now.
creepy. It's fine.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Good luck. Go
Bye.
Bills. Squish the fish.
Let's go Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Legacy jerseys. They're wearing them for the Chiefs.
You just got to get the last word in. This game's going to suck. Go Bills. Squish the fish. Squish the fish.
I want to make money.